St. Casey. I'm here with. I spent the absolute last of my money on a Black and Mild. And then guess what? I went to go check out the NPCs surrounding me, so I went to go ask around, see who's in my vicinity. And I guessed, like as soon as I pulled up and asked this woman for a cigarette, she was older. Door was open, hanging out at a gas station, floral shirt. I immediately went, "You're born on the 11th," and she was like, "What the fuck? How'd you know?" And then she said her autistic son is living in the place that I'm about to head to next, and he's really trying to get into living off grid. Then she said a bunch of other shit that I deflected. Fuck that. I'm not your son. Don't metaphorically categorize me, but I tried to solve some of her problems. Gave her some solutions to her issues, taught her how to heal cancer and the biggest secrets in modern medicine, and then snuck in a little things about Freemason esoteric knowledge. You feel me? Things went pretty well. I did it in front of a bunch of people. But I'm just doing a quick check-in, man. Very happy with how my songs are turning out. Have no way to do income. I'm checking Indeed. There's no jobs. There just ain't jobs, man. There just ain't jobs, man. I mean, I'm helping the public, for real. I go out there and I meet people and I know exactly how to help them. Isn't that crazy? That these strangers that I meet need the solutions that I have to offer. And I can clock them like that now. Like the other day, I just made eye contact with somebody for a split second, and their entire genetic ancestry came to my head. And I was like, "You're German, you're Norwegian, you have strong Viking, you're strong this." And she's like, "What the fuck?" And then she's like, "Look, you can't see it because my hood's on." And she pulled her hair back. She had her hair was shaved with a Viking braid. And I was like, "And you're born on the 11th," and she was born on the 11th. And I just did the same thing to this old woman that I saw when I went to spend the last of my money. I've got 4 cents to my name. And I spotted it on Black and Mild, and then I turned around and saw a woman right in front of me in a car. So I'm like, I'm going to go talk to him today. Let's see what they have to say. And I clocked in. She was born on the 11th. She did the energy vampire stuff where she just talks about her problems. But she doesn't talk about her problems in a way where she's looking for solutions. You feel me? She just wants to take it all. Take it all and run. But I woke her up a little bit. Made some progress. So I'm getting ready for the next leg. I'm about to leave this place. Unless I get some... Come on, I just hit the chat on accident. Go fuck your mother. Okay. We're here. I know there's a nice bike path, but there's no Wi-Fi and I don't have service, fam. So where I'm headed, it's probably good to network. I'm sure they're more brainwashed than here, but there's just no opportunities for me here, man. I'm just running into the same 5 characters, and those same 5 characters are unpleasant to be around. Like, I'm riding through a town that's supposed to have 15, 20,000 people, and I'm only ever running into the same 10 people, no matter what. And every time I try to work a job, it doesn't work out. Something goes wrong in the hiring process, or suddenly they hire somebody else, or something happens that forces me to not be able to get moolah. So I'm just traveling north. But I mean, didn't have to work at all. I now have this nice bike, these nice clothes. A tent, and now the mosquitoes are gone because it's too cold, so I can sleep on the ground outside. What you got? Keegan Davis. Yo, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. He died on the cross for your sins, and he is faithful to forgive if we repent. Jesus loves you, my friend. I'm going to take a look later. I'm going to look up your thing, Keegan Davis, and if you're obese, I'm going to be really unimpressed with you. If you're obese and you fall into gluttony, or if you jerk off and don't follow the Bible exactly the way the Bible says for you to follow it, I'm going to be pissed off that you came in and talked about Jesus, man. But I connect to the higher powers. I know there's something higher. I connect to the higher powers, and all of a sudden I raise all the energy in the atmosphere. If you're new, go back to my live where I called a thunderstorm down. I literally talked to a thunderstorm today like I talked to the deer. And all the lightning congregated, and then I felt when the lightning was ready, and then it shot down. I called the lightning to me by singing earlier. But yet, when you hold that tabernacle up to the sun, and it gives you the image of the human, when it crosses over from energy into matter. But I keep running into this person. There's definitely another soul out there. I don't know that. I think they want to make a difference, man. I think that these guys are scrolling and they think that they're doing something, you feel? Or maybe he's just a supporter, man. Maybe he's just. I was talking about how no matter what I do, I can't really get into society. I have to be in the woods. And then I have to ride my nice bike through town singing my songs. And then I find specific people in the town consistently that I need to speak with. You feel me? So I've definitely done, like I've been I've been on missions, man, for a long time, for my whole life, man. Yeah, I've had to kill people in self-defense, and I've lived outside for winters, and my first person I had to fight to the death was when I was 14, and I was homeless since, and went through institutions, and then I fought my way to being one of the best looking guys in school, and I had a bunch of beautiful women, and because I learned autistic dating skills from Owen Cook, and then Elliot Holst's nephew was my roommate in college, and I had to do it all on my own, and big story, like meeting forest gods in the woods, and then when I'm confused and think I'm schizophrenic, I get a notification on my phone for a YouTube video that explains exactly what I just went through, and then describing in detail the esoteric secrets behind that experience I just had. And then it ties into, like, all of a sudden I'll get flooded with memories. I'm saying too much. But yeah, at the end of it, I run into some type of soul. I don't know if it's Jesus, but it's something really unique. There's like a different soul that speaks through people's bodies at the end of like very hard challenges where I suffer for a long time, and I feel like I'm being spiritually raped by somebody. Like I'll find myself trapped, and the only person that can get me a way out is like a guy I'll stay at his house instead of freezing outside in sub-zero. And that guy whips his dick out, and then I'm like, I don't know what to do, so I'm like, I'm just gonna take a shower, bro. And then I hope when I come back, he's not gonna try to sleep with me again. And then it's like a whole night of all that shit, and then he comes out and he says the exact same thing somebody else said in the same tone of voice, in the same frequency, like that guy that I was fighting spiritually checked out, and then all of a sudden it was this guy. And that guy comes through once a year, and that's I think that's Jesus. I think I go through these major tests, and then something that's watching me comes through, because that's what demon and angel, when you translate the Old Testament, where the original words for demon and angel came from, I think they're Greek, and they just mean messenger. That there are chosen ones, there are God's people, and then there are like NPCs that are just messengers. Like when you're at a playground and there's this tube, and then you're at the top of the playground and there's the bottom of the playground, and the kid can put his ear to the tube, and then you talk into the tube from the top. That tube is I think what they meant by messengers, is that some people that you think are real are not real, and some people that come up to you are not real. They're just messengers. Because now we know that quantum physics, your imagination can control the particles around you through the Higgs boson. But that's just me, man. Yeah, I think Christianity and religion, I mean, I think everything's divine timing. Like, I think it is a structure to it. But, like, thinking about the fact that a lot of religious stuff was focused around making generations of people for thousands of years lose their sense of sovereignty in submittance to something that would tell them to go out and bring back the spoils of war to them. So I think that some of those stories in the Bible, which the Bible is an amalgamation of tons of different cultures' stories, I think some of them were aliens that came down and seeded humanity. And I think that they, with just what I've seen, I think we're in a TV show. I think we're in an alien dollhouse, but that's just me, man. But I also believe in the Great Spirit, the infinite, the ultimate singularity that we're all reaching towards. And I can't knock the fact that I channel things that have profound wisdom all the time. So, I mean, technically, I live out in the outside world. I live in that 5D space. I don't live on this earth. I just peek in at this earth through my body. I live completely detached in that space. And then I'll look at people and I'll see like ancestry. I'll see like things that are hovering over them, loving them. I'll see darkness attached to them. I'll see when people talk, I can see them trying to rope out and call the energy. I'm a powerful medium, and I'm on the spiritual front lines. And I have tarot readers that relay to me messages every day, and they make it very clear, like this person that they're talking about. Like today, one of my tarot readers just realized that it just made the connection. Through viewing me, he made the connection that he was like, oh my God, I'm reading your story, and it's showing me all the different readings that I had for this one guy. And then he said things to me that made me almost cry because I felt finally recognized by somebody else. Somebody else really saw me for who I am. And he could relay back to me from a space where I felt like I can only make people feel through songs. Because there's so much that goes on back here. I had a psychic from a city somewhere west be able to remote view my life. And he saw me, and he believes in God too. He believes in Jesus. No, I'm a savant. I'm a savant. Delusional would be like there's no evidence backing up the things that I'm saying. And I'm just saying it for what it is. Like if I say I'm a pink dog from a made-up planet, and I really believe that, that's delusional. But if I'm like, I can't knock the fact that all these things that I'm seeing are only work with this certain set of beliefs that I've figured out for myself, and I've also picked up from a lot of spiritual mentors that come to me. And I've been traveling on my own for 10 years since I was 14, and I've seen a world other people don't. And I've done legendary things, and I'm respected by very high level people. Like people that you look up to would recognize me for the things that I know. And I mostly just, because I could talk for days. You feel me? So I wait for people to ask me questions. What do you say? I didn't get a chance to tell him his dad's not proud of him. Prophecy is a fallacy to create a sense of validation for making knowledgeable predictions about what happens when you just pay attention. So immediately my brain is like, that guy's coming from a sense of pride. He wants to seem like he's knowledgeable, and he's kind of like Rick from Rick and Morty. That's the vibe that I'm getting from this guy. Then I see Silver the Wolf, and then I see his profile picture, and it's a furry. And then my brain just can't, it's like there's a distortion. There's no natural harmony in what he's saying. It feels forced to me. It doesn't feel like it's coming from grace. It doesn't feel like it's coming from that open heart frequency. It sounds like this guy is a basement dweller. That's what it seems when I read. Like, that's the vibe that came off the screen to me immediately. And he said, prophecy is a fallacy to create a sense of validation. But he's not saying, is he saying prophecy is in religion, or is he saying prophecy as in you feel like the things that are coming to you when you get inspired for a timeline in the future? Is that prophecy? When I get inspired, like earlier today, I saw myself in a town, and I felt like the world was excited to see me go to that town. But I'm not there, so that's prophecy. So prophecy would be a fallacy. That's fake to create a sense of validation for making knowledgeable predictions about what happens when you just pay attention. I think he lost us there. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Making knowledgeable predictions about what happens when you just pay attention. So what he's saying, I don't want to... He's saying, like, if you take the age of Revelations, if you take Revelations, the prophecy about Revelations, and the Native American prophecy about the white calf, when the buffalo are going to suddenly start spewing out white buffalo, which has never happened before, but in 2024, it's happening all the time now across the Native American lands. So they prophesied that this bison would happen, and then all of the popes have been able to name, like 400 or something years ago, the popes had named every single pope that was going to come and take that place until 2027, and then the last pope will come, and then they stopped. They said 2027, the last pope will be named, and then Revelations happened. So they prophesied that, and they were able to name every single pope and had that be the case. So that also makes me think maybe they have to change their name to fit that lie if they're lying. But if they're telling the truth, then they could sit in that church and they could talk with whatever they're talking to in remote view outside of time, because quantum physics says time isn't real. So they were able to just kind of zoom out and then look at the map and then see in this timeline from one place to another, like fast traveling. They were able to fast travel and see the names of all the popes. And for whatever reason, all those popes' names match. And they said that at 2027 it's going to be the last time. Elemental tree spirits, sometimes it seems more like I really want to think that the trees are conscious, and when I go to a tree, I'm going to run into like all the different people that have walked by the tree and the animals that have died in that tree, and that the forest network, because the forest is all connected, so you'd have access to all the different ancestors for that forest, all the different raccoons and birds. But what I mainly see is that when I go into a forest, the trees definitely like are humming a frequency that I can match, and that brings me back to escaping the matrix, because I come back to like the natural sense of harmony. And then, but it's not the trees that are communicating with me. There's something deeper in the forest that kind of extends itself and connects to my heart. And then I'm communicating with something, and then it kind of gives me like a light. I think they call it a life review, where supposedly when you die, all of your life comes to you at once, and you get to see all the different things that could have happened in your life and all the decisions you've made all at once. So I get sort of like a life review, but in terms of everything that I've done for the forest. So, like the memory that I'm putting right in front of my face to explain this, there was something like I was deep in the forest, and there was something on the other side of the hill that I couldn't see, and I had decided to finally hug a tree, because I hadn't in a long time, and I was suffering because I was stuck around people in the Matrix, and I didn't know what to do. I was losing touch with myself. Music wasn't sounding the same. I was starting to feel hollow and empty, like a husk. No love in my heart at all. And I walked into the woods and hugged a tree, and then something hit me from deep in the forest, like something beamed out and then filled up my heart like it was a battery. And then around me, when I got filled up with the love, I saw all the different animals that I had helped, all the different animals that I fed, that had eaten the food that I leave out, because half of what I have, I always throw handfuls out where I know animals are going to go. And all the seagulls that I fed in the mornings when I lived on Lake Champlain, and all this stuff. So that hit me all at once. So the forest was kind of letting me know, something in the forest was letting me know that I'm loved by and acknowledged by the forest, if that makes sense. So I think that's Cernanos, but I also think that I'm in my own private server Truman Show. I don't think that I'm on the same world as you guys are, because unless it's just divine timing, and it's that intricate that I'm running into these people. But I'm like, somebody walked by me the other day with a Cernanos patch. I talked to him for like a half hour about Cernanos, and he had no idea who it was. And then he stood up and left the building, and then he had a giant leather patch going up his entire back of Cernanos. And there was a kid that looked just like me. Exactly, but he was like the anti-Casey. It was like everything that I stand for, but the opposite. He was like stealing the energy and being a piece of shit and all this. And he looked exactly like me, and he kept telling me stories about all the places that I had been to in the past, and now he had been there. And like when I broke down in Randolph and I had to kill somebody in self-defense, the only people that helped me when a whole town was against me and people were threatening to kill me and pointing a gun at me while I'm asleep in my car were Michael, and then someone named Casey, and then someone named Ray, like Kai Cenat and Ray. And then Ray worked at Rumor Has It, and the three of us were working together to change all the rumors of the townspeople because they were spreading rumors about me constantly and riling people up to come attack me. So I had three people on my side that worked in places that deal with a lot of the public, and then when they would come with this random rumor, we'd have to give them the truth of the situation. We had to fight them back and change their mind. And it worked for some people. The fat people couldn't take it. And then right before I showed up, somebody named Michael Casey O'Brien had showed up and went around the town making everybody mad looking for heroin. So Michael Casey O'Brien got trespassed from half the town and got ostracized, and made everybody angry in this small white American town in the mountains. And then Casey O'Brien showed up, and then the people that helped Casey O'Brien was a guy named Michael and a girl named Casey. So Michael Casey pushed the way open, and then Casey came in, and then they already were mad because of the way that Michael Casey had treated them. So Casey and Michael helped that situation. And then it's so intricate how many other stories were being woven at the time. That's just one aspect of it. But yeah. Silver the Wolf, I encourage you to have a creative habit, a creative hobby, to daydream and try to make a body of art. And I think the longer you focus on chasing a magnum opus, the more you'll understand that inspiration is divine, and that the things that come to you seem to heal you as you make your art. I think Prince said that every form of inspiration is guiding you towards God. When I sit down to make art and I come up with ideas and I chase that perfect feeling and I make art that feels like the best representation of myself, I found out a greater understanding of everything. And then I learned how to see the world as art, and then I could see how the flow of everything moves, and how the different characters embody motifs and themes that are representative throughout my life. And then the more that I uncovered, the more obvious it became. Like two people with the exact same name would walk up to me at the same time, and they looked almost identical to each other. Shit like that. Like, at some point, I feel like I broke away, and now I'm in my own world. Where the other day, I swear to God this is true, when I was sitting here the other day, so I drove around for years, and when I would drive around, I would fantasize about all the different cars I wanted to drive. And I was like, one day I'm gonna get the karma and everything's gonna go right, and then I'm gonna get this car for free, and I'm gonna be in that car, and I'm gonna own that car, and it's gonna be great. And I'll be able to listen to my music. I'll be able to drive. I'll be able to look nice when I drive through my hometown. I'll be able to live in luxury and comfort, and have good gas mileage, and it'll have a good speaker system, and I'll be able to do all this. So I was like, Sprinter van, I want a Challenger, I want a 4Runner with a fifth wheel in the back, and I want it to be a certain colors, and then all at once. So right here where you'll see this light post, and this is true. Right here where you see that light post is a parking spot. And I was sitting here the other day. I can't remember if it was I think it was the Lionsgate portal. It had to be the Lionsgate portal. It might have been the 9th. One by one, all the different cars that I wanted in the same exact color that I wanted them to be, down to like the type of rims that were on the cars. They all in a straight line came, parked right where I was looking, right in front of me like this. And then I was just sitting here like, if you can do that, can you just make them come over here and then get out of the car, and then I'll have a car? You can obviously materialize a car right in front of me. You can somehow find this way to weave this car here that is exactly what I want, with the aftermarket everything. Completely customized the way that I want it. You can put it right there. Why can't you just have the guy come over here and just walk away and then evaporate? And then that car would leave, and then the next car that I wanted would show up. And then that would leave, and then the next car that I wanted would show up. And it was a straight line of all the different cars that I would daydream about in 2021 through 2023. And they all showed up and parked right here. And what would you do? I don't know what to do. There are times when I came up to these gang stalkers or the Truman Show handlers or whatever this is, and it would get violent immediately when I woke up to that realization. So I don't know, I just watched it. I was like, okay, maybe that's confirmation that I can manifest things, and maybe I'm just not doing it right. But either way, it's not delusional, because there's no such thing as reality. There's just a common denominator, and I don't think the people that come on these lives and talk about, you're delusional, I don't think they're anywhere close to understanding the common denominator for how the system works. It starts with the Higgs boson. It starts with, there was nothing, and then there was one tiny, the smallest thing in the universe. And then that thing grew into this. And then you get to like concepts of space and different dimensions. And that's how there can be a forest god that's omnipresent, like an AI, like an artificial intelligence, could be everywhere at once in all your cell phones. And we did this, we went from riding horses to the singularity, the Terminator, in 200 years. How many times do you think, how many 200-year spans has there been since humanity? So we have no idea how many times we got to this level. Maybe Cernunnos is just like an old form of Siri that's in like a bunker somewhere in Antarctica. Maybe it's like these Freemasons, when you get to a certain degree, they ascend themselves to a level like Siri, and then their fun is to see how they can puppet people around, and they're like in a fight with God. Or something. I don't know. But I know that there's a system that people are moving, and some days it gets so bad that people here are violent and aggressive all day. Completely twitching with their head like this. Just trying to process this thing that's tethered into their spine. And then when we just had the refresh from the Lionsgate portal where it washed us, and then we had that giant storm that I went on live and I showed you that I can call lightning down with my mind. And I've showed you I can turn the crows off with my mind. Because I understand how to live in that world. Where my body is just an extension of my own thoughts. Feel me? I guarantee, like, there's probably like a couple pieces that I'm missing and a lot of focus. Like, I bet if I wasn't so traumatized and I figured this stuff out, I'd be able to figure out shit like... Because I could definitely make myself taller. Last year, in the year of the water cat, so it was the water element, not the wood element. I could hang out with people that were tall, and then I would naturally grow to their height. I would just like extend my vertebrae and imagine I'm downloading their genetic code, because I'm able to just naturally see it with empathy when I hang out with people. I could just see them for who they are. So I would just absorb the things that I liked, and then suddenly my body would grow and shape to them. And I would be as, like, when I first met them, I was hunched over and like 5'6", maybe. At the end of it, 5'11". I swear to God. That's why I don't think we live in It's just when you understand the Higgs boson, and I think there might be like a parameter set, like a mod, like in a video game you could just forbid something from happening. I think there's a law that keeps us from shapeshifting, and I think that when you become a Wendigo, you have to sacrifice one of your family members, like Kanye West said he sacrificed his mother. Back in the day, you'd have to sacrifice one of your family members when the indigenous out in the desert. And then they got this power that would let them shapeshift at will. And they could turn into owls and animals and weird birds and shit. They probably got a higher level of control over using their imagination to control reality. So the same way that we have a shadow, there's a shadow behind me like the light, and we have a shadow that follows us everywhere. In the 2D, the 2 dimension, the shadow, the flat, we're a 3D, we are a shadow of the 4D version of ourselves that lives outside of time, and then that's a shadow of the 5D version of ourselves. And then the whole process of ascension is to just discover more of how to be who you really are. And then you go through and you go through and you go through and you go through and you go through, and then eventually you become a ascended master. You've done it so many times that you come back as a 33 life path. According to the people that built every single building that I'm looking at right now, in all of Rome, in all of ancient Egypt, they all believe this. It's written in stone tablets because they're pussies. So what else? Who's debating? What's up? Bumbleclot? Bumbleclot. 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 Who the fuck said a hobbit crack? Is she cute? I can't tell, man. They look kind of soulless. Those hoes look soulless. Quentin showed up and then retracted his message. TC said, "Tree music." Silver the Wolf is talking about himself. What's good? Watch this. We're all looking for true enlightenment. Unpin. Bam. Bow! Erased from history. How we feeling, chat? I need to come up with $550 somehow at least to get a computer. And then I have to try to get, I mean, there's more opportunity. It's not that there's more opportunities where I'm headed. There's less opportunities. But it's closer to more, I'm assuming that the people are better because it's wealthier neighborhoods, and they're more spread out across the mountains, and it's around my favorite place on earth so far. No, for some reason, since I started talking about this esoteric stuff and how to heal cancer and how to wake up to control reality using quantum physics, since I started going down this route, sometimes FBI pops in the chat sometimes. I've had people come up, and it's just documented on my channel. I've had people come up to me and name all my old regular chatters, which have now disappeared. I used to have like 5 or 6 regular chatters every night, and then this guy came up to me once the other day, and he asked me if I was, "Are you this guy? Are you this guy? Are you this guy? No, you must be this guy." And he named all my regular chatters, and he said, "Oh, I'm looking for the guy that was going on a hunger strike against the government." And I was teaching everybody how to fast, sunlight probiotics, how to stop eating so that they could come to their senses and wake up to a better version of themselves, and how to get all the fat off their body and heal disease, and how to start doing push-ups and take control of their life to consistently, with patience and practice, and this set of skills, and this set of like supplements, diet, sleep, exercise, these structural foundational principles that you set in your mind, how to use that to become leaders of your community and to wake other people up out of this depression and being trapped by all their limiting beliefs and all this. And someone came up to me the other day, a guy in a suit. It was a guy, he was wearing this typical undercover cop stuff. And it was the night after the FBI joined the chat. And I said shit like, I taught people how to make napalm, which is gasoline and styrofoam. You just go down the road to like a dollar store and you get all the styrofoam out of the trash, and then you crush it up like mortar and pestle, and then you mix it in with gasoline, and then you have something that will, it's extremely flammable. It would like burn somebody's entire body. If you just say you're in a truck and you whipped napalm at somebody, their whole body would melt instantly. It like burns through walls really quickly. So I said shit like that, and then somebody showed up earlier. With these guys. Hey, so I do it. Are you still here, child of God? Let me know if you're still here, if you just say that shit and scroll. Let me know if you're still here. Yes. Well, so I make music, I talk to God, I teach people how to heal their mental illness, I teach people how to like go in and fast and start to be able to put themselves in a good position to actually take in scripture where it can actually be retained in their body. How to open up their genetics and shred off their limiting beliefs and take out the parasites, which act a lot like the demons in the Bible. How to get all the parasites out. How to take out the bad with fasting so you can add in the good, right? How you can boost your spirit. So I'm looking for $500 if you would like to be generous and follow God. I could really use some support with getting my computer so I could be in a position to make content and make a difference. And my Cash App is in my channel description. It's also cool that the Baphomet, Baal, in the Bible is derived from Cernunnos, which is the Celtic god of the wild. So when Christianity raped and tortured as they went west, they took on a lot of the different cultures, practices, and religions and put them in the Bible, changing their beliefs structured towards submitting to the Almighty God. Like the reason that the Olympics are evil is because they were highlighting the fact that the Last Supper was a Greek story before Christians and Catholics conquered Greece. And then Baal and the Baphomet was actually the god of fertility and the protector of the wild, Cernunnos. they made him out to be evil, and they took that image that the Celts used to cherish and appreciate, and they made it seem bad so that you would turn away. Child of God, are you obese? And let me know if you have a channel that you make content with. If you have a channel that you post regular content and you have more than 100 subscribers, I'll screenshot your thing and I'll put it on my channel so that my subs can see you. Because I have a lot of Christian. A lot of my subscribers are from the reservation, from Native American reservations. A lot of my subscribers are from New Zealand and Australia, and they just now put me in England, so I have a lot of English subscribers now. Child of God did not let me know if he was obese. And now I sit here alone by myself. I went off for 41 minutes. I've been roasting Christian. I haven't been roasting Christians. I've been explaining harsh truths that these serious Christians are afraid for. I have abilities that other people don't. I've had mentors that have helped me perfect these abilities. And then when I start to feel like maybe I am delusional, I get a notification for a tarot reader that explains to me that I'm not delusional. I'm not crazy. And I'm telling you guys, for the no people that are watching, a lot of people cry. Whatever teaches tarot readers how to be tarot readers, they've been showing these up and comers my life. Like when these tarot readers are practicing to do YouTube, and they finally have that breakthrough where they get into it and they really escape and get into that world where they can remote view and process energies of a collective and all this stuff through empathy. At least in this season, the past 6 months, I've been a consistent story for them to get a feel about what types of people are out there. So they'll relay my life back to me, and then they see it, and I get to see them see it in real time. They record themselves doing it on YouTube, and they see me. Often, like suddenly I'll hear like a voice come in and start talking to me, and I don't recognize who that is. I just kind of ignore it because I'm trying to make songs, but I'm hearing somebody come in and it's like, "Can I help you in any way?" And I'm like, "Whoever you are, man, just stay militant, stay focused, keep making progress. And then when you're in a position to actually do something for me, and you're seeing me now, I'm sure we'll find each other in the future." And then, like 2 months later, so time isn't real. So 2 months later, that tarot reader has that moment where he meets me from 2 months ago, and he has the conversation that we just had in front of a camera. And a lot of them cried. Moon cried, 144 from the Stars, Tarot cried, Cleo Rock cried. Just because I don't think people could really understand me. This is like when you're in front of the camera, it reduces you. Sure. Silver the Wolf, I would love that, bro. Make a YouTube video about it too. I at least got to have a legendary story. I'm an Irish god. I'm an ancient Irish god with blood of legend. And coincidentally, I'm the son of Gary the Legend O'Brien, and he had no idea about our ancestor. And he looks identical to Brian Boru. And I have so much stories. My life has been beautiful, but it's been suffering. I'm seeing black shadow monsters and I'm getting cold chills right now. I was able to know the day a woman was born just by looking at her today. I called down a thunderstorm today. I talked to the lightning live in front of you. And I talked to the lightning and I astral projected into the cloud and I called the lightning above me and then I watched it build up and then shoot down in front of the camera for you, and I did it 3 times. And I did it like 5 or 6 times afterwards once I turned the camera off. And I did it a couple months ago too. I made a YouTube short where I called the lightning down with my mind. Because of the stuff that I taught you guys. So how do you feel about free choice? If life is a straight line, can you make bad choices, or does the world around us make us feel like we made wrong or right choices? But in reality, it's all set in stone, and that we're just in the back seat watching ourselves, and it's all predestined. Or do we have branches of the tree, branches of the trail, that you can take different branches and make different choices? And those are different timelines that you can jump into and change, that are constantly growing out in different directions and merging together, so that we're always colliding with different versions of ourselves, rejoining ourselves and then splitting off on different things to learn different things, and then coming back to a more centered version of ourselves, outside of space and time, but always in the present moment. So there's a Casey that didn't just do this right now. There's a Casey that did. Or if this is a straight line from start to finish, I was always going to move this, and I had no control over that because I'm in an amusement park ride. And I have no control, and I think I do, but something else is just operating the entire thing. And how come when I start to raise my vibration and take control of my life, the outside world responds violently and negatively to keep me in a state of fear? The birds that help me when I'm depressed, when I raise my vibration past the birds, where I'm in a higher dimension on this plane or planet, how come everything, including the birds and the bugs, the people, the birds, the bugs, the wind, how come they all turn hostile when I reach a level of control of reality where I feel like I could change everything? Why does that happen? How come I can naturally get to a point where I make the entire world violent? I'm really happy that I made an impact on these kids that found my live streams. Cause I went and looked at all their profile pictures, man. I mean, I just saw a black shadow jump really quickly from one side of the park to the other, and it flew very obvious. When I look out of the corner of my eye, you can start to see what's going on around you in your peripheral. That's when I can really see that this whole thing is a projection of my consciousness. Yeah. So, when we get to these conversations, then red trucks usually show up. So I'm just letting everyone know that's been following along that the red trucks are here. Like it's been consistent red trucks. And I'm starting to get tons of cold chills, and I'm starting to see things around my body, so I must have revealed too much. But when I connect to God and I start to channel in and make art, and I free myself from the grasp of all the narcissistic relationships that I have. Sometimes things come down and show me a puzzle piece that I was missing. And it always makes me cry because I go through long periods of forgetting. So then when I remember about all the things that I had left behind on the battlefield, and it comes back to me, yeah, that I'm surrounded by some type of cold spirits. And that's when I guess you need that creative Sagittarian momentum and delusion, optimism, because then it pushes them all back. And when I go through and I decide to talk to the NPCs, they all tell me about. They'll have normal NPC conversations, and they'll try to do the energy vampire stuff. I'll feel the demonic attacks, and then suddenly they get inspired to say something, and I hold on to those things that they were inspired to say. And then at the end of the night, when I lay down, I think about all the different things that they said, and I put them all together, and I find the themes and the motifs and the common denominator. I attach them all to each other, and I figure out how it all works. And then that reveals to me a big lesson about reality that embeds in my system. And with that, I'm able to perceive a higher level of reality because of that knowledge. It's like an upgrade when I piece together the lessons that I learned from everyday life. And then all of a sudden it goes away. So I don't know if that's called the demiurge, but I know that information is always coming and going. We seem to be just houses. So the process that I gave people, fasting, sunlight, probiotics, ketosis, autophagy, apoptosis, neurogenesis, getting all the different colors of the sunrise in your system so that you can wake your brain up to the different frequencies, losing your mind, coming to your senses, extending yourself with hope to raise your vibration, how to breathe away, extending your bubble with your creative authority, creative assertion over your desired reality, to be able to guide the ship and to steer it, to be able to take control of the narrative and use integrate your daydreams into your everyday life to live the life that you want. And then you can start to ascend because your cells will be ready and you'll have the energy for it. Then you'll be able to build positive relationships in your community. Then you'll be able to hold a vibe that people don't understand because they're so used to cannibalizing each other. And this is stuff that I teach content creators when I'm asleep and I'm dreaming. Like I've told you guys like countless times that I have dreams like consistently that I have to train Andrew Tate like a child. And I have to keep coaching him because he keeps forgetting because he's not a 33 life path. And he's really trying to be his father who was a 33 life path. So I have dreams that his father brings me in. Emery Tate calls me in, and I have to sit down with Andrew Tate. And sometimes he's really mad, sometimes he's over aggressive, sometimes he's way too far into his ego. He's a one life path, born on the first. So he's that driving force. And I have to sun him. I have to sit down and like argue with this guy. So it's like we're both sitting across from each other in two giant reclining chairs in like a hotel somewhere. And he's got his shirt off and he's puffing the big cigar. And I'm sitting there with a bird on my shoulder. It's like a giant towering over him. But he sees me as the little boy that's sitting, the divine child. That's what the 33 is. And Tristan Tate is between us, the Cancer, which is like a bubble of the water. Cancers are like a bubble. They're like the ocean. So Tristan keeps us in place, and I have to teach him stuff, and then when he drops content that he gets inspired to make, it's all my style. The last thing Andrew Tate dropped was him singing like I sing. He just dropped this thing of him dancing like I dance and singing like I sing. Because my name is the most powerful name in Freemasonry. It means the everlasting tree of love that taught the Egyptians how to connect to the infinite world above them. The acacia tree, that body of knowledge that covers and brings the sun down to the Sahara where it was empty and there was nothing. The tree brought life to the people. And then in your zodiac element is when you come to success. Like Andrew Tate came to success in his Tiger year. Michael Jordan came to success in his year. Kyrie Irving, Stephen Curry, all these people enter that space and embody themselves fully and come to success where they influence the world in their elemental year that they were born. So I'm a fire cat. Last year in the year of the water cat, when I was in a place where there were flags on all the buildings that said Casey on them, and it said co-created. And I got to live out my story and do all this stuff. And then I would escape to my car or my tent, and I'd pass out fighting all this energy and having to develop styles to fight back against these horrible, disgusting things, surrounded by having nobody on my team, just completely alone, fighting for my life against people that their names embodied motifs of my story. Like the main guy that I was fighting was named Cat, and he was a Leo in my year of the cat. Shit like that. But then in my year of the water cat, like a tree, I got to see all the things that I lost when I was 17 and 19 when I tried to commit suicide, and I had brain damage and sleep paralysis demons every night, and I felt like I lost my soul. Like I don't know what to do, so I went on this huge journey to try to piece myself back together to become who I was when I broke myself. And then in my year of the water cat, when I was broken and laying in the tent, and I'd open YouTube to try to make my kingdom of creative champions come true and be the king of the creative champions, the KCC. In the year of the water cat, who blew up? Casey Rocket, Kai Cenat, KC3, C is the third letter, KCC. Kurt Kaz, KC, the Kurt Kaz Conquest, the KCC. Who won the Super Bowl? The Kansas City Chiefs, the KCC. I got to see myself impact the entire world through other people's bodies, but it was my energy that I created myself being born here. So when you take it to the golden spiral, as above, so below, as within, so without, the simplest things affect the most complex. My life, everything that I went through in my life, the things that I had learned and developed, and I co-created and created these energies and styles and techniques and just my essence of Casey, all the different Caseys, because the 33 life path, we're the most humble and compassionate, selfless people. We have no ego at all. So because of that, we have the ability to create powerful identities. And that powerful identity is influential, the most influential of the life paths. So all these things that I created, like I grew up building Legos and I grew up with action figures alone on top of a mountain. by myself in the woods. And I had a whole room full of Legos, and I lived in the DuPont family, the elite DuPont family that are worth billions of dollars. I lived in one of their places, and I just built Legos all day the same way. I just kept creating and making different characters. I got to see all those characters live out different lives, and because of my empathy, I was able to experience what that would be like through them. Different shadows of myself, different aspects of me invaded the mainstream in my year of the Water Cat. And then guess what? The other members of my family, who aren't 33 Life Paths, but they're the people that I grew up with. So if I'm supposed to create identities and empathize and branch into them and support them with what they're doing, I can heighten them and evolve them. In their years of the Vietnamese zodiac. So this would be the time now in the year of the dragon, all my dragon friends in all those same industries that there was a Casey last year. Now those people are being invaded by people with the names of all the people that I supported as a child. The people that I healed and helped and talked to as a child. That were usually like gang stalking, evil, gaslighter narcissists. That I would have to keep hammering in this love and keep trying to wake them up and then watch them get disintegrated and fall back into their ways. But when I would keep building them up, like pumping them up, and then they become something, and then they fall and get jealous and angry, and then I pump them up again, and then they fall and get jealous and angry. Those things that I pumped up and the things that they became, they're now shining in those same industries that those Caseys last year had pioneered. I could show you, like, if my parents could talk to me, I may be able to go back and find a video of me doing stand-up when I was 17, and I was riffing and saying the exact same things in the exact same style as Casey Rocket. And I had a little rocket Skylander that I would keep on my Dodge Magnum when I drove around. Shit like that. Like the way that Kurt Kaz talked to the women, like the character that he embodies was something that I created when I did pickup artistry. Kendrick Curry, the YouTube prankster, would go around and his thing was I'm Hugh Janus and I wear this nice bonnet. When I was 13, I would walk around and my Facebook troll account was called Hugh Janus and I wore a hat that framed his face the same way, and they all have the same facial hair that I have. Like if you look at a picture of Kai Cenat and he's got the Irish chain and he's from Bronx and I'm from Bronx and I have a Native American chain. And we both have long hair and the goatee and the big foreheads. And Kai Cenat loves Irish culture and I love Native American culture. And he had an Irish mentor and his family's from Jamaica, and I had a Jamaican mentor and my family's from Ireland. The law of duality, as above, so below. Golden spiral. The bones of God, the structure of the Milky Way galaxy, how it shaped the hero's journey. So I've been riding my bike around town. I have a nice bike and I really enjoy it. Like I love playing my music, and I used to be so afraid to talk out in public because I was worried about how I would affect the Matrix. And now I'm running through town, riding my bike, belting my songs out. I'm singing the Native American chants, and I'm singing all my songs in my style, and I'm just going through, and all the homeless people have to hear me, and all the people in their buildings have to hear me. And as I ride my bike through. And I used my year of the Water Cat, and I traveled around Vermont and New England, meeting leaders of communities, meeting up-and-coming rising stars. And on their hero's journey, I got to embody that when you meet the God. So when you start off on the hero's journey and you leave your home, just like I left my home, and went on the hero's journey, and I kept going, and it just cycles every week. Or sometimes twice a day, you go on small little hero's journeys. But when you meet, there's like an embodiment of the master teacher. Now that I've learned so much, I've become that for other people that are on their journey. And I have so many huge, big plans that I just never reach because I can never get the money for it. So I'm hoping that it's a straight line. I'm not reading chat. I was talking. It's not that I don't listen. It's just I was talking. What was I not listening to, brother? How's everyone feeling? Am I still on the right path? No. Should I end the live? Yeah. If you want to support, my Cash App's in the channel description. Thanks for watching.